guys, it's Clyde again with PT3D, and today I'm going to be doing a quick video on the iNSTONE 3D printer that I have because I have experienced a jam. So, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started on this. As you could probably see, this is not the easiest of things to do, working from the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working from the top. So if you can't see, I apologize. I'm going to try and make the visibility as good as I can. So let's see if that works okay. I think that'll work just splendidly. Alright, so as you may or may not remember from my previous video, the filament I was using was from the iNSTONE company. I have had issues with this filament since I got it. If you can watch, it breaks. I have had this filament break so many times now that I think that as much as I want to use every little piece I can of filament, well, I think sometimes you just have to admit defeat. I've used more than half the roll, so I feel like I've gotten my money's worth, I guess. I mean, it's a shame too because it actually does print quite nice, but that's what happens. I may give them a shot again in the future with their filament. I don't know, we'll see. They tried to tell me that it was my fault, that it's because I live in a dry environment or whatever. I live in Maine. It's far from dry. If anything, it's kind of humid in the winter. Temperature stability is not too bad. But anyway, that's what they think, so I have to defer that they are correct. Alright, so when we're taking this part out, it's very important that you remember that there are two washers on the assembly here. Okay, so, and this screw kind of holds the stepper two, goes through this little block here. So when you're pulling this stuff apart, don't lose anything. Or try not to. I have so many of these that it's not really a big deal. If I lose one, I can replace it. What you're going to find, though, is that there's little tiny channels where the linear bearings are that causes a little bit of it's a little groove. So if you're not careful, the washer will fall down in there. Alright, so we got the bolts most of the way out. Like I said, this is the part you want to be careful on. You can see it right in there. We're going to try and slide this back just a little bit more so we don't lose it. I'll do the same thing over here. Alright, and we're cooking. I've been trying to document anything that I need to do with this printer. That's why I'm doing this quick video. That way, if anybody else has the issue, then, well, here you go. This is how we're dealing with it. Be careful. There is some thermal paste on the back of this. Kind of like the stuff you'd find on a, CPU processor or whatever. Alright, so our issue, I'm not taking this completely out, okay? Our issue is right there. There's a little bit of filament broke off right at the top of the throat, or the heat break, which is right here. That's where that aluminum block, then the heat break comes up just to the top of this, so it's just barely flush. I don't know if you can see that. I can try and, let's see, let me bring that up here just a little bit. Alright, so if you look, right there, that is our culprit. Alright. You see the, there you go. That spot right there, it's not pushing the filament through, so it's going to need a little bit of an assist. So, if you look on the panel here, since I got the camera, I apologize, it's on a tripod, so you know what? Why don't we take it off the tripod? That'll make this easier, huh? So I'm going to back this out so I can get my spot back here. Alright. Excellent. Alright, so I apologize for doing this live, but, you know, hey, that's what we do. Alright, so on the display, you can see where it says Print Tools System. Let's go to Tools. You're going to want to go to Preheat first. Alright, now right now you want number 1. There is no number 2. So you want to increase that temperature to get it to kick on the thermistor, or the heater, sorry. I'm going to set it 194 degrees. So I'm going to bump that up to 200. Okay? Once you get it up to 200, it'll make this process a lot easier. So, we are going to wait for this to preheat. So I will be back in a second. Okay, so we're at about a minute and change. We are up to 200 degrees. I've got a very skinny Allen wrench. I'm not looking to really persuade this the whole way, but I do want to get it down just far enough so that if there is a block, it'll go away. Alright, okay, now we got some nice movement now. Alright, so I went a little farther down than I wanted to, but sometimes you get this, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like pushing through peanut butter. So this is what was left in there, so I'm taking that out. Alright, so now that we got this done, the fun part begins, which is kind of putting everything back together again. The block is not super hot, but it's hot enough to burn your finger if you leave it there too long, so keep that in mind. It's important when you do this that you keep this moved back as far as you can, because when you start reassembling this, you'll see what I'm talking about in a second, you're kind of going behind this left side guard right here. So it makes it interesting trying to work with if you have it. Oops. I've got the thing running. I should probably turn it off real quick. So yeah, we'll do that so we don't accidentally nick our fan. This thing doesn't take very long to heat back up anyway. So all right. So now get all this lined back up. This guard, if you had this gantry all the way forward, yeah. You see, that's what I was afraid of happening. That's all right. Things happen. I know. I'll do a retake. Not. I don't retake nothing. If I make a mistake, I own it. I made a mistake. I'm gonna own it. All right. So, got both pieces all set up, ready to go back in. Okay, you just line these screws back up. This part is, like I said, this is a little finicky. You could do this however you want. Okay, I'm doing it this way because this is the way I'm doing it. It's easier to... Okay, so lining up is not actually being so fun right now. All right, hold on a second. Let's see. Catching up on something and I'm trying to free myself up here. Alright, here we go. There we go. I got caught in the heat sink just a little bit. Alright, so this all kind of goes together similar to any other hot end in a way. Well, at least the ones I've used. There we go. Alright, so don't get too excited when it goes together like this because it's probably not right. You want threads to engage, which they may or may not, but So kind of want to hold everything together just to kind of get it there. Oh, I see movement. That's good. Alright, you can see everything kind of moves. See that? It's trying to engage the threads, but not quite there. Alright, so now we got that engaged. Move this one. Try and get this threaded in just a little bit farther. Wow, look at that. Alright, so now you just want to go snug. Basically, I use my thumb as a guide. When the Allen wrench starts to hurt my finger, or the edge starts to dig into my finger or my skin, I call that tight enough. Okay, so now we're back together. So we're going to pop this back in here. This part really doesn't matter, it's going to all go together here in a second. So you bring this back up here, and just kind of take a look at everything, make sure you're not pinching any wires in a weird way. And like I said, this part is kind of finicky, but once you get it, it goes together quite nicely. Alright, see? Just like that. I start with the front screw. I don't know that there's a benefit to doing it that way, but that's the way I'm doing it. So that's the way we're doing it. I'm gonna get that nice and snug. These do not have to be super tight, okay? This is injection molded plastic, so the tighter you go, the more likely you're going to break something or strip something, and then that's not going to be any good for anybody. So you just kind of screw it till you feel it starting to tighten up, go a little bit past that, and then boom, leave it alone. Alright, the bottom ones, this whole thing might not look it, but it's probably out of alignment, so I usually start again with the front screw. I try to see if I can get it to bite right away. If not, then you just kind of tilt this towards you. And then you just kind of screw it right in. Again, this goes into that little aluminum block that's in the bottom. So that one's already tapped and threaded and all that. Oop. Bumping my flashlight. Alright, last screw. Again, try to go as straight as you can. Take your time. Okay. Again, these don't have to be overly tight, so don't get crazy with it. Don't reef on them. Okay. All right. So we're gonna leave this open just for the time being. I'm gonna try and get some filament going in this thing. So we'll take the flashlight out, or my little lantern. And we're gonna turn this on. And again, I'm gonna step away just a second so you guys can not have to wait here. So I'd call it a time lapse or a fast forward, but right now, again, I'm setting this to 200 degrees. It's at 82 degrees right now. Let's see, I'll get you a good look. As you can tell, the movement in this is actually quite nice. I know that people have had some issues with the with some stuff on here, but I have not had issues yet. Heated and ready to go. I don't think you really need to see the happiness of me putting this in. I will tell you, though, that I'm using 1.75 millimeter filament, and I did have it skip a little, so I have to cut this. So when you're cutting with any filament, okay, try to cut it at an angle. That way you get a nice point. And many of you probably already know that, and that's fine, but this is just because I figured I would mention it. Push the lever on the side. And then the tricky part is getting it lined up. Because for some reason, this black filament I'm using curls up a lot and does not give me the best angle of attack when I'm doing the trying to get it in there. Alright, so I think we missed. Alright, I'm going to try and straighten this filament out and do this manually. The interface is not overly complicated, so I'm going to switch this to manual mode so I can feed this in. Yeah, I'm missing it again. Alright. I don't know why this filament wants to act like this today. Normally I don't like manually inserting filament into the block. I think for whatever reason this thing is going to be the death of me. Yeah, I can feel it kind of wandering a little bit. Alright, I'm going to nip this again. I'm going to do something that's a little bit different than usual. I'm going to flush cut this so it doesn't have that tapered point on it. Well, that's funny. Okay, so tapered point gone. And as you can see, we are extruding filament. Alright, so I guess the takeaway from this particular printer is don't angle cut it, I guess. Or I just got lucky when I flush cut it and it worked. So, filament. Awesome. Now we have black filament so we can get started on our next print job. Alright guys, well I hope you guys gleaned a little bit of information from this video. Actually went a couple seconds longer than I had anticipated, having problems feeding the filament in. But you did get to see me clean out the clog on the iNSTONE Inventor Pro. So hopefully this has been helpful for you and will make you a little bit more confident when you have issues come up in the future that you can't immediately fix from the outside. So until next time guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next live stream.